By this point on your fertility journey, you have probably heard of toxins affecting your fertility. Or maybe you haven't. Or maybe you have a cart full of items that you're looking to replace with all of your products in your house at all the same time, but your husband is like, no, slow your roll. Or maybe you are sitting here so confused of what products really matter, how much toxins can actually affect your fertility, or how they even affect it. That is what we are going to talk about today. So I'm so excited to unpack this episode with you. And I'm hoping that you get not only tangible advice, know what to replace first, know how to not stress yourself to the point where the cortisol spike is actually worse than the toxins, and gain some knowledge on some valuable products that you can trust and take with you and maybe even get a little discount.
God designed your body for fertility, but when the journey to parenthood feels like a heartbreaking mystery, it's so easy to feel lost. I'm Dr. Trisha, a nurse practitioner and fertility consultant who's been where you are. That's why I created Fertility by Design, where faith meets science to empower you with real solutions, holistic healing, and biblical encouragement. You are not alone. Your fertility is not broken. So let's walk this journey together.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for coming back for another episode of Fertility by Design. I am so excited to dive into this topic. This week has been a great week, very busy week, but we are getting to add a flower to our board this week, and it is always the best when we get to do that. This one has been a long time coming. I'm so excited for this client, and just huge prayers for her in early pregnancy and beyond for this healthy baby. So always a good week when we get to start our week like that. So I had a client come to me who was preparing her body to get pregnant, but she had also been going through a lot of different health struggles. She really started to think there was something off in her gut, and she really didn't know what else it could be because there were a lot of things that she was doing right. And she herself is in the health and wellness field as a nurse practitioner and doing a lot of great things, taking care of her body, but she just needed a little bit more help for these struggles that she was experiencing and to prepare her body to have another baby. So when we started diving in to what she was doing and how her gut health looked, we definitely saw some things off in her gut, but it really wasn't horrible. We saw a few things with her Dutch panel testing, but weren't horrible. What we did find when we started digging deeper into her health history was that she was using a lot of toxic products that mimic estrogen, xenoestrogens. She was a born in the 80s, 90s girl. So you know she was using some Bath and Body Works, which who hasn't, right? If you haven't, I'm sorry, I can't relate to you. I spent a better part of my life slathering on sparkly lotions and Bath and Body Works, which is ironic now since I barely get the opportunity to use soap in the shower. So what happens when we are using all of these products? We are burning candles that are affecting our hormones. We're putting products on our body daily that can disrupt our hormones. We need to have a conversation about the balance of using those things and how we can swap those things from daily use to maybe a lot less likely use. So when this client came to me and we had this discussion about her using all of these products that she's been using for a really long time and letting her know how much those things can actually disrupt her hormones, it was really eye-opening. But my goal in that moment was also not to overwhelm her and overhaul her entire life either, but to give her tangible strategic tips, what to switch, where to start, and how to make it more manageable for her life. And that is what I want to give you guys today. So let's start with, what are xenoestrogens? Xenoestrogens are man-made chemicals that actually mimic estrogen in the body. And so they can bind to the real estrogen receptor sites, and this is going to lead to hormone imbalance. Some common sources of these xenoestrogens are BPA, parabens, phthalates, synthetic fragrances, plastics. These are going to be found in things like body lotion, deodorant, sunscreen, makeup and skincare, cleaning products, canned foods, plastic containers, a lot of things that we actually use on a daily basis. Why does this matter for fertility? Well, when we use products that can mimic our estrogen, it can actually create this opportunity for estrogen dominance. not actually a medical term, estrogen dominance, but what it just means is we can see the estrogen levels creep up. Not only in stool testing, we can see this in urine hormone testing, and we can even see this in serum testing. This can cause all kinds of problems, one being that things like endometriosis and PCOS can be driven and worsened by estrogen and estrogen dominant diseases. We can see ovulation suppression. We can see it competing with progesterone and causing low progesterone. And we can also see then that result would be a thinned uterine lining. If we have long-term exposure to these things, they're causing inflammation in our body. They're contributing to part of the gut lining breakdown. We're going to see inflammation, lower AMH, miscarriage risk, and of course, men, you're not excluded. This can also affect sperm quality. When you take a look at labels, especially labels of like laundry detergent or deodorant and things like that, it becomes a little tricky to really figure out like what is a toxin and what isn't, because all of those words are typically words that are not familiar to you. I typically will say, turn the label around. If anything you can't pronounce, don't buy it. But when it comes to products like our laundry detergent, deodorants, and things like that, our skincare, our shampoo, conditioner, that's not necessarily the case. And so we can use things like the EWG app, the Environmental Working Group app, is a fantastic app to help you determine what level your products land on when it comes to toxicity, when it comes to endocrine disruptors, xenoestrogens, and things like that. So that is a really helpful app. There's also other ones out there like Yuka or the Think Dirty app. Those are great too. Some tricky words that you want to look out for, though, is one you can pronounce, fragrance or parfum. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I feel like it's French. Parfum. I don't know. I don't speak French. So that's an umbrella term for hundreds of potentially undisclosed chemicals. Now, not always is it. You'll also see natural fragrance can also be a catch-all for toxins hiding in your products, unfortunately, because that word is not federally controlled. So people can use it loosely and throw things in their products under that like scapegoat word. Parabens is another one. Phthalates is another one that you want to look for. And often phthalates are hidden in that word fragrance or natural fragrance. Triclosan and SLS are things you want to look out for in your products, as well as BPA or BPS in the packaging. Just because something says BPA free does not always mean that it is the best option, but it's definitely a good place to start. Again, I highly recommend using an app like the EWG. We'll put a link to it in the show notes. It's super easy. You can scan products, you can search them. It has different categories. I've searched clients' laundry detergents, their makeup, their favorite body products, deodorants. We've searched it all. It's a super helpful app. As we transition into how to get started on swapping some of these products, I just want to remind you that you were bought with a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. This is in 1 Corinthians 6:20, and it's really not about fear. It is just about doing our due diligence to faithfully steward our body and learning more about the things of this world that are actually negatively impacting our health. So the first things first is don't panic. Okay, we're going to just prioritize the products that touch your skin every single day. Okay, so that's going to look like your deodorant. If you use body lotion every day, face wash, sunscreen, conditioner, shampoo, your toothpaste, maybe chapstick, those are some things you probably use every single day. If you work in retail and you touch those paper receipts every single day, you need to wear gloves. Those are really toxic. Okay, I'm not going to talk any more about that, but if you work in retail, wear gloves, okay? So where do we start? Other things you might want to replace right away are some of your plastic containers. You know, those plastic containers that you had probably since maybe high school or college that your family like gave to you when you moved out, and they've got like the white crusty flakes like around the container. Yes, those you need to get rid of. That's your priority, okay? And you're going to swap them out with glass. You don't need to swap out every single plastic container in your home at this exact moment. Just a slow, gradual switch. Unless, it's Amazon Prime Day, then you just go for it, okay? So you might be wondering, well, what products are the best? And there are so many fantastic companies out there that have such great well-made, low-toxin products. I'm going to share with you some of my favorite. I love them. I use them. And because I love and use them, I do have affiliate links for them so that you can save money and you can help support our show. So I'm going to share them. We'll put links in the show notes to these, but one of my favorite companies is called Low-Toxin Organics. They have so much stuff. They have a full skincare line, which has been fantastic. Lots of serums. I love it. They have deodorant. They have essential oils that I've used. Some of my favorite products are their bath bombs because we still want to be bougie sometimes. And so that's okay. We can be bougie without being toxic. I use some of their tinctures. Like I just ordered their elderberry because right now it's cold and flu season. And so I wanted some elderberry to help protect our family. So they have just an array of things. Go check it out. And I'm really sorry. Tell your husband I said sorry for the money that you're going to spend there. Another company that I really like and I use for their skincare and I use shampoo and conditioner often there is ClearStem. ClearStem has clean, non-toxic skincare. It actually works. It's good stuff. I've been really happy with it. Cleaning products, you can use things like Branch Basics. Rocasa also has a ton of cleaning products. I've used them in my house. I enjoy them very much. Some of my favorite makeup brands are The Honest Company. Honestly, they are one of the best. They're fantastic. I am a very simplistic makeup girl, as you can probably tell, especially if you're watching this on YouTube. You can tell that there's not a lot going on here in the makeup department, but their products are simple. They're great. They last. They hold up. Ilia is another brand of makeup I've enjoyed, and there are many, many others. So use that EWG app to check your makeup and then just slowly replace items. You don't need to replace everything all at once. The biggest question I always get from clients or people on Instagram is, what deodorant are you using? And there are so many. I have tried Primally Pure. I did not love it. Honestly, I have tried a bunch of different other ones. I have not tried Rocasa's deodorant, so I definitely want to. But the one that I have tried recently that is by far my favorite is Wild. It works super well. It holds up against the summer South Carolina humidity. So that's a check mark in the right box. And they have really cute containers and they have lots of different smells and fragrances. So definitely recommend checking them out. And they're a little bit more affordable than a lot of the natural deodorants. I used to get Beauty Counters and boy, was that an expensive deodorant. So I switched to Wild. I've been super happy and I've been very consistent with them. If I need something in a pinch and I don't have any of the Wild, I'll use Native. But again, Native does have some things in it that I don't love. It's not the cleanest version you could get, but if you can aim for one without aluminum, you're going in the right direction. So I will say this again, going toxin-free is really not possible. It shouldn't feel like a second full-time job, and you shouldn't be going into extreme debt and poverty to do it. Remember, perfection actually increases cortisol. So if we are trying to do this in a perfectionist way, that ironically is probably going to hurt your hormones more than the shampoo that you swapped out. So focus on progress, not paranoia, and let me know what some of your favorite products are. I would love to hear it. I hope this episode is just your gentle nudge, not a guilt trip. You don't need to be perfect in this life to be fertile and have a baby. So start with one product swap. Use our links in the show notes so you don't have to spend the rest of your day researching products and you can just go straight to the source and get really clean, well-made, low-toxin products. And don't forget to use our code to save. And we would love to have you join us in the Faith and Fertility Circle, where we go deeper with all kinds of other fertility topics that you need to hear in a faith-filled environment. If this episode has blessed you, share it with a friend, give us a review. It helps our podcast reach the people that need to hear it. We can't wait to see you back next week.
That's it for today's episode of Fertility by Design. Subscribe so you never miss an episode, leave a review to help more couples find hope, and share this with a friend who needs encouragement on their fertility journey. Need even more support? Let's connect. Find me on Instagram at Trisha Zerung for faith-filled fertility guidance, real solutions, and a community that just understands. Remember, your fertility is not broken. Your body is beautifully and wonderfully designed, and God's plan is always perfect. I'll see you next time.